All right, so when you think about a modern war, what comes to mind? Probably a huge clash of tanks, right? Jets screaming overhead, soldiers on the ground. But what if a war could be pretty much won before that first big battle even kicks off? That's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at how China's military, the People's Liberation Army, has built a playbook for a totally new kind of war.
See, the big idea here isn't just about blowing things up or overpowering an enemy head-on. Nope, it's all built around one single, powerful idea: paralysis. The goal is to completely dismantle an adversary's entire operational system. We're talking about their ability to think, to move, to fight. You take all that away. So by the time the main event is supposed to start, the other side is already, for all intents and purposes, out of the fight.
So, you gotta forget the classic image of a war of attrition, the old meat grinder style where two armies just slam into each other over and over until one side breaks. This is different. The PLA's approach is all about triggering a total systemic collapse. It's designed to make an opponent's military just, well, fall apart from the inside out. And the name for this playbook? It's a doctrine they call systems confrontation. And honestly, the best way to wrap your head around it is with an analogy. Think of an army as a human body. Instead of going for the arms and legs, the tanks and the soldiers, you go straight for the central nervous system. You attack the brain, you sever the nerves, you cut off its ability to send signals. And what happens then? Total paralysis.
So, to get a little more specific, systems confrontation is all about dismantling an enemy's three core functions. First, it's command, so it can't think. Second, it's maneuver, so it can't move. And third, it's sustainment, so it can't get resupplied. You hit all three at once. And the end goal is to make your opponent completely incapable of fighting as a single, coherent force.
Let's break that down. It basically happens in 3 steps. Step 1, you isolate the force. You cut it off from any reinforcements, any outside support. It's on its own. Step 2, you paralyze its command and control. You blind its sensors, you jam its communications. Basically, it can't see or talk. And then, step 3, once that enemy is isolated, blind, and confused, that's when you move in to dismantle whatever combat power it has left, piece by piece.
Okay, so the big question is, how does the PLA actually do all this? Well, it's not with any single magic weapon. It's by using a huge, interconnected arsenal of modern tools. And we're not just talking about tanks on land or jets in the air. This is a coordinated assault that hits you across every single domain of warfare at the same time.
Yeah, this modern battle is fought on 5 fronts all at once. You've got the ones you know: land, air, and sea. But then you have the others, which are just as critical. The fight goes into space, to hit satellites that control everything from GPS to communications. It goes into cyberspace, to shut down command networks. And that 5th front? It's the electromagnetic spectrum itself, jamming signals, blinding radar. The idea is to create these overwhelming, confusing effects coming at you from every direction imaginable.
And one of the absolute key tools for this is long-range precision fire. Think about systems like the PCH-191 rocket artillery. These things are absolutely critical. We're talking about weapons that, from the very first moments of a conflict, can reach out and touch things deep, deep behind enemy lines. Command posts, airfields, supply depots. You're not just attacking the front line, you're cutting its lifeline from the get-go. And then, there's just the sheer weight of numbers. The PLA is pouring money into one-way attack drones. You might know them as suicide drones. And get this, we could be talking about an inventory of over 1 million of them. A single PLA group army might have access to more than 100,000 of these things. Imagine trying to defend against that. Massive swarms designed to just completely overwhelm anything you can throw at them.
But remember, before a single rocket is launched or a single drone takes off, the PLA has one absolute #1 priority: achieving information dominance. This is the foundation for everything else. It means using everything in their toolkit, space, cyber, electronic warfare, to blind the enemy, sow confusion, slow down their ability to make decisions, and just shatter their whole picture of the battlefield.
Okay, so that's the theory and the tools behind it. But how does this doctrine actually look in practice? Let's take a look at a couple of scenarios, one where the PLA is on the attack and one where they're on defense.
So the core idea adapts depending on the situation. If they're on the offense, it's all about isolate, penetrate, and annihilate. You cut a force off, punch through their lines, and then destroy it. But on defense, it's a different game. It's more patient. You lure the attacker in, you chip away at them with constant strikes, and then, when they're weak and overextended, you spring a massive ambush. So here's what an attack might look like. And notice, it doesn't start on D-Day. It actually starts about a month before with what's called a shaping campaign. That's all the cyber attacks, the space warfare, the electronic jamming, all designed to soften up the target. Then, on D-Day itself, you get the big push, multi-dimensional penetrations from the air and on the ground, and by just 5 days in, the goal is to have the enemy completely shattered into little isolated pockets, ready to be picked off one by one.
Now, let's flip the script and look at the defense. This also starts early, with preemptive long-range strikes hitting the enemy while they're still just getting organized in their assembly areas. As their attack actually begins, they're not met head-on. Instead, they're carefully channeled and guided into pre-planned kill zones, using all sorts of obstacles and strong points. And finally, once the attacker is stretched thin, weakened, and frustrated, that's when the PLA unleashes a huge, decisive counterattack to finish them off.
So, what does all of this really mean? What's the bottom line here? Well, this strategic shift creates a totally new battlefield reality. And it has some pretty profound implications for how other modern militaries, especially the US Army, have to think about and prepare for any potential major conflict in the future.
The key takeaways are crystal clear. You have to assume you're being watched all the time, so aggressive counter-reconnaissance is absolutely vital. You have to train to fight blind and deaf, with your comms jammed and your GPS gone. And protection? It's not just about thicker armor anymore. It's about cyber hygiene, about hiding your electronic signature, and yeah, about figuring out how to survive those massive drone swarms. Honestly, just surviving on this kind of battlefield, let alone winning, takes a completely different mindset.
And all of this leaves us with one last, pretty crucial question to think about. In this new age of systems warfare, where the goal isn't attrition but paralysis, and where information is the prime target, is the first shot even a shot at all? It might not make a sound. It could just be a single line of code, or a quiet signal sent to a satellite in orbit, fired weeks, maybe even months, before the first tank ever rolls.